My name is Linda Alela. This is the news now, where the Jukwaa la Usalama Security Report presented to President William Ruto Tuesday morning has identified Nairobi County as Kenya's largest hub of criminal gangs, with more than 130 groups operating across the city. The Jukwaa la Usalama report warns that while gang activity is widespread nationwide, the threat is most acute in the capital, where criminal networks are increasingly implicated in political violence, kidnappings, extortion and murder. Some of the gangs mentioned in the report include Jeshi Jinga, Chinkororo, Mungiki 42 Brothers, M23, Kapenguria 6 and Usiku Sako.
The other issue, Mr. President, we still face is the question of goons and gangs. Mr. President, goons and gangs are a threat to our security as a nation. We have very resilient gangs that operate around the country, and they have very interesting names. Some of them are called Watizedi, Ingine Confirm, Ingine wanaitwa Gaza, zingine wanasema 42 Brothers, zingine wanasema Panga Boys, MRC, Mungiki, Sungu, Chinkororo. Mr. President, these groups are a threat to our national security. And the IG has been working on a strategy to make sure that we deal with this issue. Mr. President, it is made complicated by politicians who go hire goons for their political gain. In some parts of this country, Mr. President, there is no funeral that happens without goons fighting from one politician to the other, making lives completely difficult for these chiefs and assistant chiefs and the OCSs.
And 6 newly elected members of parliament have been sworn in this afternoon. In the National Assembly, the 6 members are Harrison Garama Kombe of Magarini constituency, Ahmed Malim Hassan of Banisa constituency, Boyd Were Ongondo of Kasipul constituency, David Anthman Ndakwa of Malava constituency, and Leo Wamudhende Jeru of Mbeere North constituency, equally Moses Okoth Omondi of Ugunja constituency. Now, the clerk of the National Assembly, Samuel Njoroge, conducted an orientation session for the members-elect, and of course they were elected during the recent by-elections.
Kwa jina la Mwenyezi Mungu kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu.
To the member-elect for Banisa constituency, Hassan Ahmed Malim.
Do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the people.
Okay, and straight to Kakamega, and that is on question of politics still. Kakamega Senator Boniface Khalwale has been removed as the UDA majority whip in the Senate and replaced by Bungoma Senator David Wakoli. The Senate Speaker, Amason Kingi, while communicating the decision to the House, said that the resolution by the ruling UDA party to oust Khalwale met the required standing orders as well as the threshold. Now, Khalwale's ouster follows accusations that he campaigned for DAP Kenya candidate Seth Panyako against UDA's David Ndakwa in the just concluded Malava by-election.
That a resolution was passed to remove the Senate Majority Whip, Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale, CBS MP, in accordance with Standing Order 22.5. The minutes further indicate the Majority Party elected Senator David Wafula Waholi MP to serve as the Senate Majority Whip in his place. Now, Honorable Senators, Standing Order 22.8 provide as follows. The Speaker, upon receipt of the decision under paragraph 7, shall verify the correspondence received and deliver a communication to the Senate within 3 sitting days. In this respect, I have verified the correspondence received and hereby communicate that the majority party has effected a change in the office of the Senate Majority Whip. The new office holder, therefore, with immediate effect is Senator David Wafula Wakoli, MP.
And Kisumu City Manager Michael Alela Wanga has urged the court to defer plea, taking in a corruption case facing him in which he is accused of forgery, alteration of official documents and fraudulent acquisition of over 8.7 million shillings of public funds. The Anti-Corruption Court is expected to deliver its ruling on Wednesday at 10 a.m. on whether the accused will be required to take a plea. Now, through his lawyer, Steve Ogola, Wanga requested the deferral to allow the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, or DPP, to respond to a letter challenging the charges against him. Lawyer Ogola further told the court that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, had failed to comply with court orders issued in September this year, which required investigators to record a statement from the accused. However, the EACC maintained that it had complied with all court directives and only sought a 1-week adjournment for plea taking.
Yes, we have other files. With the E064 of 22. Yes, we have other files.
All right, the Council of Legal Education, CLE, has officially launched a 2-day inaugural conference here in Nairobi aimed at enhancing the capacity of law faculties and bar training institutions, that is to deliver integrity-focused legal education. Held under the theme Legal Education and Training for a Globally Competitive Lawyer. The conference has brought together legal practitioners, academia, representatives of law enforcement agencies, and other regional stakeholders.
There is financing, cyber-enabled.
We are at a reflection point, an opportunity for us to ask ourselves, where does legal education go into the country in terms of the changing landscape, a changing landscape globally, where there is increased internationalization, not just of the economy, but also of governance. So we need to ensure that we are producing lawyers, not just for the Kenyan market, as one of the guests said, but lawyers for the globe.
What must be understood is that the legal system must always grow. Many years ago, when I was a law student, there was only one law school in Kenya. Today, there are over 20 law schools in Kenya. The world has changed. Some will tell you we are on the cusp of the 4th and 5th industrial revolution. We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about
All right. Homa Bay residents have expressed mixed reactions following the removal of Deputy Governor Joseph Oyugi Magwanga from the agriculture docket, a position he had been overseeing. Now, a section of residents have defended Governor Gladys Wanga's decision, arguing that the reshuffle was necessary. Some residents welcomed the move, accusing the Deputy Governor of disloyalty to his boss and saying the county needed decisive leadership. However, not all residents agreed with some criticizing the action as unconstitutional and claiming the governor had overstepped her authority. They further argue that such decisions cast doubt on the governor's suitability to hold public office.
We, as the people of Homa Bay, we welcome and highly welcome the decision. That was a wonderful decision that was made by Her Excellency the Governor. You cannot work with people who are betraying you and backstabbing you. We want to tell His Excellency Deputy Governor Oyugi Magwanga, you cannot serve the government and during the night time you betray the same government you're serving.
To me, it appears to be this is just a political witch hunt. The government has been defeated in execution of the manifestos or the policies that given the residents of Homa Bay. We are supposed to have only 10 ministers, and we cannot have 11 ministers. And that one in itself, the governor, in acknowledging that he has relinquished the position of the DG, she's also unfit to hold public office. And that is what is anchored in the law.
Retired and current employees of the Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, NCWSC, have launched protests over unpaid pension arrears exceeding 4 billion shillings. The workers accused both the Nairobi County government and the sewerage company of persistent neglect and mismanagement that has delayed payment of their long-standing benefits. They condemned the poor leadership and warned that the protest will continue until the arrears are fully settled, while many described struggling to meet basic needs due to the delays. The association urged authorities to act swiftly, cautioning that continued inaction could escalate tensions and disrupt essential services as affected workers push for justice and their rightful dues.
Hawawezi kuwa wameretire 7 good years, 8 good years, 10 good years, 15 good years, halafu wewe unakaa pretty good in your offices na mutaki hata waingie ofisi leo.
There is money that was left here.
Yes.
Isn't it? They don't want to continue coming back.
Yes.
If you only tell us to give you a paper, you take that paper most likely and also put it somewhere.
Pesa nilipatiwa hapa ilikuwa chini ya milioni 3 na iko pesa nyingine ya private fund. Hiyo pesa tulipwa bila interest. Kama mimi nilikuwa nimekata 200 over 20 years na ndipo hiyo 200 peke yake.
And the government has declared that Galana Kulalu will be officially gazetted as a special economic zone, opening the area for large-scale investment and development. A new one-stop land commercialization office will fast-track approvals, enabling investors to lease idle public land quickly. The initiative targets edible oils, cereals, and industrial crops, promoting value addition and job creation. The Nyumba Group 3,000-acre farm demonstrates early success, having, of course, created over 3,000 jobs with irrigation and crop production projects. Authorities say this strategy will enhance food security, industrial growth, and enhance Kenya's global agriculture and also competitiveness. And to be clear, it is 300,000-acre farm demonstrates, of course, the early success.
We have done large infrastructure on dams, canals, and currently have almost 10 million cubic meters of water for irrigation. We have put up pivots, which are 50 hectares, around 20 of them as we speak.
The role of the private sector must be enhanced. We must enhance. We must look for ways and means of ensuring that the government facilitates and regulates unless the private sector does its bit. So congratulations. We hope that you can expand. We are putting another $5 million. I hope that eventually you put another $50 million, because this means, when you calculate GDP, this will form part of our GDP.
And a survey by Polytrack Africa has ranked top performers as Nyandarua's Faith Gitau and Nyeri's Rahab Mukami tying at first place, each scoring an impressive 73%. Cynthia Muge of Nandi follows closely with 69% and with Jane Kageri at 68%. Susan Ngugi Mwindu at 67% and Wajir's, that is Fatuma Jiwo, rounding out the top 6 with 65%. The latest Polytrack Africa rankings reveal Kenya's top 15 best performing women representatives for 2025, drawn from a national survey covering all 47 counties. The study interviewed over 3,200 voters between November 18th and 28th, with findings highlighting strong performers from regions such as Nyandarua, Nyeri, Nandi, Wajir, Mandera, Turkana, Lamu, and Garissa, also reflecting broad regional support and shifting political dynamics. All right, and we now get sporty. Lots that we have in relation to that, where there is Mongolia Athletics that has strengthened its commitment to nurturing future champions with the openings of a new high-altitude residential camp in Oloitoktok, Kajiado County, a purpose-built facility capable of hosting more than 100 athletes. And the all-female camp run by the Rainbow of Mongolia Fountains Fountains of Life Foundation is already home to 40 rising stars selected through competitive annual trials and groomed across a wide range of disciplines, that is from sprints to long-distance events. Most of the athletes have already made their mark in AK weekend meets with team captain Josephine Sembeyo standing out after representing Kenya at the Africa Youth Athletics Championships in Nigeria. Beyond elite training, the camp offers educational scholarships and specialized coaching, positioning itself as a breeding ground for the next generation that is of athletes and talent in the country. All right, 16 minutes past the top of the hour. That's the match that we had prepared for you on the news now, but more coming your way. That is at 7 and 9 p.m. Keep it TV47. My name is Linda Alela. Bye-bye.